Have you ever felt like your hands are bleeding from trying so hard to control a situation that insists on slipping out of your control? There's an exhaustion that doesn't go away with a night's sleep because it's the weariness of a soul that believes it's solely responsible for holding up the entire world. Today, I want to introduce you to the relief of an old promise, but one that remains the only way out for those who have reached their limit. You will understand what happens when you finally have the courage to let go of the reins and allow the one who created the stars to guide your steps. Chapter 1. The fatigue of self-sufficiency. Living under the illusion that we have absolute control over tomorrow is one of the greatest traps the human ego can create. This burden of having to foresee every problem and find every solution alone is stealing the sparkle from your eyes and the peace from your heart. Self-sufficiency is an invisible burden that weighs on your back and makes every small choice seem like a matter of life or death. You demand results from yourself that don't depend solely on you, generating an endless cycle of anxiety that consumes all your vital energy. Often your insomnia reflects a mind that refuses to accept that there are things that only time and God can resolve. The fear that everything will crumble if you stop for a second is the voice of lies trying to keep you enslaved to a fight that isn't yours. The price your mental and spiritual health pays for this constant vigilance is too high to be ignored any longer. You are trying to be the architect, the builder, and the guardian of your own story, forgetting that there is a watcher who never sleeps nor slumbers. Feeling defeated by exhaustion is not a sign of failure, but a warning from your spirit that you were not designed to carry this burden. True strength begins when we admit that our hands are too small to hold the reins of such a large and complex destiny. The desperation to solve everything in your own time and in your own way only increases the distance between you and the peace that the Father promised. You need to recognize that your strength has run out so that His strength can begin to operate supernaturally amidst your weaknesses. Stop fighting the current and understand that letting go isn't giving up, but trusting in the intelligence of the one who governs the universe with a breath. Comment now, "I relinquish control," and feel the first sigh of relief as you admit you no longer need to carry the world on your shoulders. Die Versen, Chapter 2, The Invitation of the Light Yoke. Jesus had a deep understanding of human nature when He looked at the crowd and said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." He promised not only physical rest, but relief for the soul that carries burdens that were never its own. The Lord invites us to exchange our heavy yoke for His yoke, which is easy and light, teaching us that life with Him is not about effort, but about surrender. Resting in God does not mean standing still, but walking at the pace of the one who has already won all our future battles. Often, our choices become burdensome because we try to carry them alone, without sharing the weight with the Master who offers to help us. Divine wisdom teaches us that peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of a rest that the world does not understand. Learning from Jesus means understanding that meekness and humility of heart are the true keys to finding rest in the midst of the storm. He's the only one who can calm the chaos within us, restoring the balance that anxiety and haste have stolen from us. Do not accept the burden of guilt or external pressure as if they were orders from God. He would never give you a burden that would break you. The Lord's invitation is for you to lay down your weapons of self-defense and find safe refuge under His mighty wings. By accepting the light yoke, you allow God's grace to work in the areas where your human effort has only generated weariness and frustration. This is the moment to exchange your fatigue for the strength of the one who sustains the entire universe with His authoritative word. Leave a like now if you accept this invitation and wish for the weight on your shoulders to be replaced by the peace of Christ. By doing so, you confirm to your spirit that from today onward, you will no longer walk alone under unnecessary burdens. Chapter 3, The Passenger on the Boat. Imagine you are in a small boat in the middle of an ocean covered in such dense fog that you can't see your own hand. Desperate, you try to row with all your might, but you feel the boat just spinning in circles, dangerously approaching the rocks. Beside you, seated calmly, is the captain who knows every current and every hidden reef, just waiting for you to let go of the oars. The moment you give up steering alone, the captain takes the helm and with supernatural certainty guides the boat to calm waters. Our life is like a boat, and the reins we try to hold are oars that tire us without actually taking us anywhere. The fog of problems prevents us from seeing the way out, but the captain sees through the clouds and knows exactly where the safe harbor awaits us. Trying to control every detail of your story amidst the fog is an invitation to emotional shipwreck and the depletion of your energy. Wisdom lies in recognizing that, although the boat is yours, the steering should belong to the one who calms the wind and masters the sea. Letting go of the reins doesn't mean you'll be led by chance, but rather that you'll be guided by the most experienced hand in the universe. The relief of being merely a passenger under God's care is the greatest freedom a human being can experience. When you rest while God guides you, you regain the strength needed to enjoy the journey instead of merely surviving the fear of shipwreck. The final destination is already mapped out by the Father's faithfulness, and He guarantees that you will arrive there at the right time and in the right place. Subscribe to the channel to learn to trust the captain every day and to calm your soul in the face of the uncertainties on the horizon. Don't let the noise of the waves prevent you from hearing the commanding voice of the one who is leading you to victory. Chapter 4. Mary at the feet of the Master. In the small house in Bethany, we find two sisters who loved Jesus, but who reacted in opposite ways to His holy presence. While Martha busied herself with tasks, anxious and weary from 1,000 details, Mary chose simply to sit at the Master's feet and listen to His words. Martha complained about her sister's silence, but Jesus brought a revelation that should resonate in your soul now. Mary chose the better part. Often your weariness comes from the belief that you need to do a lot for God or for your life, when He only wants you to learn to be. Martha's agitation is a portrait of our modern mind, which believes that the value of life lies in rushing and controlling external tasks. However, spiritual authority is born in stillness, in that moment when we stop running to simply receive what heaven has to offer us. Choosing the better part means understanding that resting at the feet of Jesus is the most productive investment you can make in your own future. It is in this rest that your strength is renewed and mental confusion gives way to a clarity that no human strategy could offer. Don't feel guilty for pausing and laying your worries at the altar, while the world screams that you should be in constant motion. The Lord prefers your peaceful company to your desperate service, for He doesn't need your effort, but desires your heart. The secret to a victorious life lies not in the number of reins you hold, but in the quality of time you spend in communion with the source of life. Let the chores wait a little, and prioritize that which truly has the power to transform your reality from the inside out. Share this video with someone who is overwhelmed by obligations and has forgotten what it feels like to simply rest in the presence of the Father. Help another soul discover that the best part is available to all those who finally decide to stop struggling alone. Chapter 5. The Valley of the Shadow. The world's most famous psalm begins with a declaration of authority. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. However, the promise of lacking nothing is directly linked to our ability to allow ourselves to be guided by His caring hands. The Good Shepherd leads us to green pastures and still waters, but the path to that rest often crosses the valley of the shadow of death. The secret to overcoming this valley is not our speed or strength, but the confidence that the shepherd's staff is protecting us. Often, the reins you hold are what prevent the shepherd from leading you out of danger and toward the waters that restore the soul. Fear makes us want to run or fight in the dark, but divine wisdom asks us to walk step by step, listening only to the sound of his voice. Resting in the valley seems impossible to those who look with the eyes of the flesh, but it is the ultimate test for those who have decided to surrender control of their lives to the Creator. In the midst of darkness, rest becomes the greatest proof of authority, declaring that evil has no power where the shepherd is present. If you feel you are going through a dark and difficult period, understand that your role now is not to find a way out on your own, but to follow in his footsteps. He knows every shortcut and every danger in the valley and assures you that the table of victory is already being prepared on the other side. Allow him to guide your inner life, calming your heartbeat and silencing the thoughts of defeat that the valley tries to whisper. Rest is proof that you do not fear the future because you know exactly who is holding your right hand during the journey. Close your eyes for a moment and pray with me for inner peace, asking the Good Shepherd to take the lead in every step you take today. Feel the burden being lifted and the security of his presence enveloping your whole being, bringing the refreshment you have so longed for. Undine seen Dakes chapter 6, the secret of the sleep of the righteous. There is a liberating truth in the Bible that says God grants sleep to his beloved and that he works for those who wait on him. This means that while you rest in faith, the Creator's hands continue to move the pieces of your destiny in a way that your effort could never achieve. Excessive worry is a form of practical atheism, as it suggests that God is incapable of taking care of the situation without your constant anxiety. The sleep of the righteous is not a sign of laziness, but rather the seal of those who understand that the universe does not depend on their vigilance to keep turning. When you sleep peacefully, you are declaring that you trust in the wisdom of the one who governs the tides and keeps the stars in their places. Anxiety does not hasten the answer to your prayer. It only delays your ability to enjoy the blessing when it finally manifests. The secret to achieving spiritual success is understanding that your mind needs silence to receive the best ideas and solutions that heaven wishes to send. A restless heart is like murky water where nothing can be seen, but a heart at rest is a mirror that reflects the light of God. Don't let the enemy steal your rest with thoughts of what if everything goes wrong, because your future is kept safe in a place where neither moth nor rust can destroy it. Surrender control of your nights to the Lord and learn that the best strategy is the one born from a peaceful night. Choose today to believe that tomorrow has already been carefully planned and that you don't need to solve all the world's problems before sunrise. Write in the comments, I rest in the promise, adopting the posture of someone who feels safe and supported by a force that never fails. Chapter 7. The Relief of Delivery. The time has come to transform the theory of rest into a practical action that will change the temperature of your soul from now on. Letting go of the reins is not a one-time event, but a daily practice of saying, Father, I don't know what to do, but I trust that you know. The relief of surrender comes when you stop practicing analytical paralysis, which is the addiction of overthinking all the negative possibilities. Divine wisdom invites you to act on what is possible and to rest on what is impossible, leaving the weight of the final outcome to the Lord. True freedom begins when you realize you are not the savior of your own life, nor are you responsible for fixing everyone around you. Let go of the reins of others' expectations, release control over financial results, and feel the air returning to your lungs in a light and airy way. When you surrender, you open space for God to do infinitely more than anything you asked for or imagined with your limited logic. Rest is the atmosphere where miracles breathe and where divine providence finds fertile ground to manifest itself in all its glory. Make a commitment today to be the guardian of your own peace, not allowing anything or anyone to steal the rest you won on the cross. You now have the authority of one who knows that the master of time is your best friend and that he is holding the reins firmly. Activate notifications now so that every day your soul is reminded that the heavy burden does not belong to you. Your time of solitary struggle is over. Today, you enter the rest of the promised land, where the Lord fights your battles while you simply trust. Conclusion. As we come to the end of this reflection, I hope you feel the weight lifting from your shoulders and your breathing becoming lighter. You have discovered that letting go of the reins is not losing your way, but allowing the one who knows the safe path to take the helm of your life. The rest you are experiencing now is proof that your faith has matured and that human control has been replaced by divine trust. There is no longer any reason for panic or exhaustion because you are no longer alone in pursuing your dreams and making your choices. Final statement. I now declare that the peace that surpasses all understanding guards your heart and mind in Christ Jesus, driving out all anxiety. I proclaim that your nights will be filled with deep and restful sleep, while the Lord works behind the scenes to organize everything that was troubling you. Receive the authority to walk lightly, knowing that the reins of your story are in the hands of the one who never fails and never tires. Go in peace, experience the rest of the promise, and see how everything falls perfectly into place when you finally choose to trust in the Father's guidance.